From the 16th century, exploration of lands outside of Europe became more and more common among large European countries. England's monarchs and people saw the same opportunities, such as growth in trade, expansion of territory and resources, and more religious freedom for those who eventually settled in North America. Their expeditions were split between two main areas, South Asia and North America. The Indian Ocean was known for its trade, and England traded cotton and textiles for the Indians' foreign spices. By 1650, several English trading posts had showed up in India. While England began its expansion into the Indian territories, it was met with three main trade rivals: the French, the Portuguese, and the Dutch. As the French pushed for a larger influence on trade in India, they attacked the British at Fort Madras. However, one man by the name of Robert Clive had saved the British from this by being established as the chief representative of the East India Company. He fought off the French with strategic warfare and was hugely successful. This made England realize the power that they could have in the region. They started to purposely push France out of India. Also, the Portuguese and Dutch interest in India lowered as well, and eventually the Dutch decided it really wasn't worth their time. While this was happening, Robert Clive was also consolidating British control in Bengal, where the local ruler had attacked Fort William and imprisoned the nearby British population. There, a small British army defeated the Mughal-led army that was 10 times the size of the British army in the Battle of Plassey. After winning the Battle of Plassey, England could tax the land around Fort William and had solidified their place there. Then, after the 7 Years' War, England had completely pushed France out of India and had effectively removed one of the rivals from the race to control the region. It was after this that English rule in India began to take hold, and within decades of much of South Asia was England's to control.
On the other side of the world, the Portuguese and Spanish explorers had already traveled to South and Central America, with the English setting course to explore the New World to gain its riches and land. In 1497, Henry VII sent explorer John Cabot, an Italian, to find new lands for the English, and were looking for a path to Asia as well, but instead found Newfoundland. While Spain had claimed all of the Americas as their own, the English bypassed them and sent more colonizers to their settlements. In the West Indies, England established several settlements and many plantations. With the help of African slave labor, the English could export huge amounts of tobacco, coffee, cotton, and sugar to help their economy. Farther north, the east coast of North America is slowly being populated, with the first permanent English settlement of Jamestown being established in 1607, which had paved the way for more settlers to arrive. Massachusetts was an example of this, as the Puritans escaped to go to this area to escape religious persecution in England. As a result, by the mid-1660s, England controlled the entire east coast of the present-day U.S. The population continued to grow and transform the land with English towns and farms, but the Native Americans had often fought against this. By the mid-1700s, 13 separate colonies came forth and were all bound to the English through the government, but resentment of English policies grew, which would eventually lead to the American Revolution. Meanwhile, the French had ceded their Canadian land to the English as a result of the 7 Years' War. All this amounts to England gaining a ton of land in the Americas and creating an English landscape and farming for their own profit. The conquering and the riches and the power all circled back home. Colonies in the Americas, huge sugar exports, colonies forming in South Asia, and the East India Company ruling trade all over Eurasia. Over the decades of exploration, England grew more and more powerful as a force of trade. Not only did they have the ability of foreign spices, cotton, and cash crops, but their own people were given jobs. There was the rising metallurgy, mining, and shipbuilding. All of this industry had led to the systems of today. Large companies and capitalism became the norm across England. Their domination in exploration allowed them to be the power remembered in history.